Okay, you're playing a 60-minute game of football. The mission is to rack up as many pass attempts as possible in a sport where you have to traverse across a field with a ball. Your character is the quarterback, and you're here to throw, which is the more efficient method to move the ball on a per-play basis. However, danger lurks. Your character can get sacked behind the line of scrimmage to throw a wrench in your team's possession, or worse, you could kill the possession altogether if someone from the opposing team manages to catch the ball. Sometimes coaches like being risk-averse and lean on their ground game by handing the ball off to a player who runs with it. That on average generates a few yards less per play, but it's a bit safer. However, the points in this game come simply from airing it out with certain people and circumstances conducive to unleashing a ton of passes. So, who's laughed the hardest in the face of danger by compiling the highest score of pass attempts in a single NFL game? Back in 1940, with passing still in its embryonic stages, the Eagles headed to our nation's capital with a dismal 1-9 record to play their season finale. They were shut out through 3 quarters and found themselves down a couple touchdowns in the 4th. In an effort to come back, Philly quarterback Davey O'Brien dropped back to pass a whopping 60 times in establishing a wildly impressive early high score. O'Brien was a tremendous star who crafted an incredible legacy in college at TCU. But nothing else Davey O'Brien accomplished in his life compares to this heroic display of passing in an era where it was still considered taboo. Then, the day after the game, the 23-year-old left football to join the FBI. O'Brien's mark would stand for decades, with barely anyone ever even coming close. In the other 2,950 team games throughout the 40s and 50s, there were only 7 instances of a passer even scoring 50. But then came the 60s when a couple strong new challengers entered the fray in Tripp Yuka and George Blanda. With the 50-pass game still mostly urban legend, in 1960 Tripp Yuka topped that number twice in 3 weeks. And it was the same opponent both times, as large deficits meant turning the Oilers into his personal cheat code in his quest for the high score. He'd even jump all the way to second place a couple years later, though he possessed that silver medal for only a week before Sonny Jurgensen snatched it from him. But alas, O'Brien's spot at the top still eluded everyone. Enter George Blanda. He was mostly a kicker in Chicago throughout the 50s, and after a brief retirement, signed with Houston in 1960 to throw and kick for the Oilers. So Blanda twice watched from the opposing sideline as Tripp Yuka flirted with immortality, which surely led to the inspiration to one-up him, as evidenced by the 55 passes Blanda tossed in the week between those 2 Oilers-Broncos games. He finally broke through in a 1964 game in Buffalo when, with his squad's ground game stuck in neutral, Blanda took matters into his own hands and shattered O'Brien's record with a new high score of 68. Tripp Yuka and Blanda each took a turn breaking the single-season interception record too, with the 42 passes that Blanda threw to defensive players in 1962, a record that'll stand till the sun burns out. But that's just unimportant fluff to what really matters, the art of volume passing. And Blanda felt so satisfied and secure with his monstrously high score that unlike most red-blooded Americans who retire around 65, he quit the NFL for good after the 1975 season at the tender age of 48. And for about 30 years, he was indeed untouchable. The only guy to come within 5 of Blanda's score was Chris Miller in the final game for the '89 Falcons when he tried to mount a late comeback with a 23-pass 4th quarter that led to a score of 66. But Blanda's seemingly insurmountable mark finally fell in 1994 when a score of 70 was recorded in Foxborough, Massachusetts. During that November Patriots-Vikings game, New England found themselves trailing by 17 at the break. They also possessed a historically lousy ground game that season, producing just 2.8 yards per carry, the lowest average since the 1953 Giants. So Coach Bill Parcells just turned things completely over to his second-year quarterback, Drew Bledsoe. While he threw a mere 17 passes in the first half, Bledsoe cranked out an astronomical 47 in the second, including on each and every one of their 27 plays in the 4th quarter. And for all you mathematicians out there, no, 47 plus 17 is not 70. But Bledsoe got some bonus balls in there because his furious late-game comeback lifted his team to overtime, where he got to tack on another 6 passes in marching his team downfield for the win. So, way to go, kinda, but unfortunately we gotta slap a big ol' asterisk on there as Blanda remained regulation king. For now. Because 6 years later, the Jets' Vinny Testaverde became our new hero, and he did it in style, at the age of 37, in Baltimore, against what might be the greatest single-season defense ever, the 2000 Ravens. It was the regular season finale, and on this Christmas Eve, all they had to do was win to deliver the gift of a playoff berth to their fan base. But Testaverde had other ideas. And what's truly majestic about it is he had no real reason to sling the ball nonstop, other than the best reason of all, standing atop this throne with the highest score of them all. There was no extended desperation. In fact, Vinny capped each of New York's first 2 drives with touchdown passes, taking a 14-zip lead just 6 minutes into the game. It remained competitive for the first 55 minutes until Baltimore's 3rd non-offensive touchdown of the game put things away late. The Jets even had Curtis Martin, a Hall of Fame back in his prime, but offensive coordinator Dan Henning was complicit in the real mission at hand, dialing up pass after pass after pass, and when it was all said and done, Testaverde dropped back 70 times. He was sacked once, but 69 was still nice enough to top Blanda for the regulation record. Since then, the only player to throw more than 65 passes in regulation was Ben Roethlisberger on a Sunday night in Week 14 of the 2017 season. But I'd be remiss if I didn't pay proper respect to a man who didn't get many chances to topple the high score, but when he did, boy did he go balls to the wall in his pursuit. I'm talking about the man, the myth, the legend, that's right, Chris Weinke. In 2001, the 29-year-old rookie became the Panthers' starting quarterback, and after winning their opener, Carolina lost each and every game thereafter, becoming the first team to lose 15 straight games within a single season. But no one cares about that. What is worth caring about is that he threw over 500 passes as a rookie, something only Peyton Manning had ever done. Late in the season, he treated his home fans to a 51-pass outburst, only to follow that up with a game that to this day remains the only time a rookie has ever thrown more than 60 passes in a game. And those 114 combined passes broke the high score for most times any quarterback had ever aired it out across back-to-back games. He then spent another 6 seasons holding a clipboard, only starting 5 more games throughout the rest of his career. But one of those came late in 2006 against the Giants, with Jake Delhomme sidelined by a thumb injury. It was Weinke's first start in more than 4 years, and he sure as hell wasn't going to let it go to waste. Down 3 scores going into the 4th quarter, having gotten little help on the ground and with 31 passes already under his belt on the afternoon, Weinke whipped up a 30-pass quarter to finish with a score of 61. The offensive coordinator dialing up all those passes? Old friend Dan Henning. Despite a career featuring just 709 pass attempts, a number surpassed by several hundred other quarterbacks, Weinke is one of just 4 players to have ever thrown more than 60 regulation passes in multiple career games. That's exquisite. But can the single game high score really be topped? It'll require a near perfect storm of circumstances, but it'll eventually happen. Factors crucial to the effort will be Mother Nature providing good weather, or at least a lack of significant wind. The defense of the quarterback's team should be a sieve that hemorrhages points so as to force playing catch-up, leading to a shootout. And launching 80-yard bombs won't do you any favors. You want to slowly matriculate your way downfield to maximize passes per possession. Your own team's defense allowing some huge plays, however, would be handy to get the ball back quickly, as would an uninspiring ground game that makes it easy to abandon in favor of airing it out. And of course, if there's a coach with pass-happy DNA who's got a QB with a rocket launcher attached to his shoulder, that's a right candidate too. If, say, a team hired a head coach from the college ranks who ran a spread offense before investing the top overall pick on a shiny new quarterback, that's a prime threat as well. One day, Testaverde and his 60-minute high score of 69 will inevitably yield to a new challenger, but he'll simply be standing on the shoulders of the giants before him. Hey folks, thanks so much for watching High Score. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the thing to watch more episodes, or click the other thing to watch a whole variety of stuff made just for you.